Henry O'Connor, alongside Brian Wilson, and joining us right now is candidate for president and senator from Kentucky, Republican Rand Paul. Senator Paul, thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, there's a lot of talk today about these refugees coming in from Syria, especially in light of the terror attacks in Paris. I understand that you're going to introduce a bill on the floor of the Senate regarding this. What is the plan, Senator Paul?
I think it's a mistake to allow refugees to be coming in, not only really from Syria, but from the Middle East in general. I think immigrants, visitors, and students coming from the Middle East, and there are lots of them, need to have added scrutiny. Just in recent years, we've had several refugees try to attack us. I mean, the Boston bombers did attack us. They were here on refugee status. At the same time, in my town, Bowling Green, Kentucky, we had 2 Iraqi refugees trying to buy Stinger missiles. The government maintained that they'd been vetted, but it turns out when we re-vetted them after they tried to buy the missiles, that one of their fingerprints was on a bomb fragment from Iraq, and we just failed to look at the database and match them up. So I think we have too many people coming in to actually properly vet them. We have too many people already here. So we need to stop the flow and get a handle for who is here from the Middle East and make sure they're not here to attack us.
So there was a conference call between some 34 governors, most of them Republicans, who oppose having refugees sent to their states, and key members of the administration, and there are a lot of questions being asked. And one of the questions the governors asked, and they pressed pretty hard, was, do we have the option of opting out? And they were told that they did not. And they were asking then, well, then can you tell us where these people that you've already settled are, and where you plan to put the rest of them? And they said, no, we can't tell you that. Don't the states have the right to know this information?
Well, definitely Congress has the right to either give money to this operation or not. And this is something that the American people are upset with Congress. Republicans control the House and the Senate. We have every ability, if we're willing to use it, to tell the president that he can't do this. The president's not a king, but we act like, we can't do it unless we have 60 votes in the Senate. That's not true. We put it forward, we push it to the Senate, and we tell the president, you want to shut down government over this, go right ahead. But we do not believe that at this time we should be accepting refugees. But I'd go one step further. I think anybody traveling from any country, unless they're in global entry, should wait 30 days. Most of the attackers in France were actually French citizens. France is a waiver-free, a visa waiver country, so they don't have to have a visa to come and visit us. A French citizen can hop on a plane and come over here. I'd have them all wait 30 days unless they've gone through the proper vetting, which I would consider to be the global entry, which is kind of like the Trusted Traveler program or the Frequent Flyer program. But I'd make you give some background information if you want to visit here from any place in the world.
Our guest is Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, GOP presidential candidate. And Senator Paul, CIA Director John Brennan went on the record just a couple of days after the Paris terror attack suggesting that the changes made to the way we gather intelligence now in America and the agency's ability to find terrorists due to some reforms that you supported and advocated for, frankly, many people think wouldn't have happened without your support, Senator Paul. He says that because of those changes, this terror attack happened. How do you respond to that?
Well, he's lying. Basically, the situation where we collect all the bulk data still continues. When the bill was passed, there were 6 more months of collecting the data. So Paris, Charlie Hebdo, all of these attacks have occurred while we collect all of that data through bulk collection. Furthermore, in France, they have what we do on steroids. They do it with absolutely no privacy controls, and they weren't able to stop it. So these intelligence people that are crying out and saying, give us your liberty, we'll make you safe, they're lying to you. They're using every opportunity to try to grow government bigger. This is the whole concept, and they've written about it, basically. Many of them have admitted it, that when there's a next crisis, if we can prove that privacy has anything to do with it, we'll take more privacy away. But there's no instance of the bulk collection of phone records catching anyone. France has it on steroids, and they still didn't stop this. So these people will never be satisfied till we give up all of our freedom, and I'll continue to fight them every step of the way.
Given what has happened in France, and given our continuing concerns about the rise of ISIS, which the president apparently thinks is contained, is it time for a larger military role in that part of the world?
I think the first thing we have to do is we should quit arming ISIS. We should quit arming the allies of al-Qaeda. We should acknowledge our mistakes in the Syrian civil war. we should stop our supposed allies like Saudi Arabia from sending arms into that war. We should do everything we can to stop the financial support of terrorists from our ostensible allies like Qatar and Saudi Arabia. There's money flowing from Saudi Arabia and Qatar into the Syrian civil war. Much of that is winding up enhancing or supporting the people who are our enemies. When we put arms into that war in Syria, I opposed it. This is a big bone of contention between Marco Rubio and I. He supported sending arms to the allies of al-Qaeda, and I said it was a mistake, and the irony would be that we'd be back there fighting our own weapons. ISIS has $1 billion worth of our Humvees. They have our tanks. They've got our anti-tank weapons. They have our arms. There was a picture on the internet yesterday of an ISIS soldier holding up a beautiful M16, brand new. So our problem really is that we have been on the wrong side of things and have been involved in Syrian civil war such that our presence, I think, has actually allowed or enhanced the growth of ISIS.
Senator Paul, but now that the war on terror and national security and the terrorist threat are back in the front pages, many observers are suggesting that experience in these areas is going to be a key component to selecting a president. Whoever the Republican nominee is, they're going to go against Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State. She's going to pretend that she has huge experience in this area. If you were the nominee, how would you go about confronting Secretary of State Clinton's resume there and her track record with regard to national security and the war on terror?
I think I'm the only Republican that can truly oppose her in a consistent fashion. You know, I opposed Hillary's war in Libya. Unfortunately, Marco Rubio, Bush, and all the others supported the war in Libya. I think the war in Libya made us less safe. I think it gave basically a failed state in Libya that's now a hunting ground for ISIS. A third of Libya now pledges allegiance to ISIS. And I think the war was a mistake, and I won't let Hillary Clinton forget not only the war and how it destabilized the region, but that it led to Benghazi and the assassination of our ambassador. Nobody else can do that because most everybody else on the Republican side supported the war in Libya. It was an undeclared war. We didn't obey the Constitution. We toppled a secular dictator, and out of that chaos rose radical Islam. And so I think really that Marco and Hillary Clinton have many similarities on foreign policy, and it'd be very difficult for them to have a debate since they're on the same side.
All right, Senator Rand Paul, we got to leave it there, but it's always good to have you, and I know you've been busy in Iowa and New Hampshire, but thanks for checking in with your friends here in D.C.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.